Good evening, everybody. My name's Stuart Davis. It's Thursday, and I'm here for tonight's show. I'm a flawed man of God. I'm a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a biblical scholar. I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about Jesus, talk about matters that impact Christians, or offer my opinion on issues inside or outside of the church. So if you're interested in learning more about Christ, if you are interested in starting a relationship with Jesus, welcome to the show. Tune in. Let this be kind of a primer to Christianity. I know that there's a lot of stereotypes, a lot of feelings about what church is like, what Christians are like in general. A lot of them can be wrong. So this is maybe a preview of somebody you might run into when you go into a church. So with that said, everybody who's tuning in because they just want to talk about biblical issues, Christian issues, welcome to the show as well. I've got the chat. Chat sees it's active, ready, and waiting for this show to start. So we're going to do that. I am late because right before I started, I spilled my tea. Right here. It's the second time this week I've spilled my tea at my desk, and I'm not happy about it. And I was going to drink it, right? That's why I had it here. Unfortunate. And so is my beard. My beard's looking a little rough. It's getting close to trimming time, folks. So we will be doing that. Sweet tea. It'll be sweet tea. Yeah. Spilled my tea. Then my dog stepped on a bee. But yeah, we got some thunderstorms going on right now, which is good. It's been hot as blazes this week. And hot as blazes this week. I've been out in the sun a lot. It's zapped me, so I'm a little on the wore out side, but not too wore out for this show. Not too wore out to come in and talk to you folks. It is energizing to me. So welcome, folks. Welcome, Nico. Welcome, Wild Weeb, Nernaeth, Dresden. And that's what I see in there so far. Leighton, Ricada, no. Unfortunately, Leighton Amber Heard, because I spilled my tea when my dog stepped on a bee. So, yeah. How's it going, everybody? Gentlemen, one of the gentlemen in the chat sent me some tips that I'm going to use this weekend to try to see if I can apply them to my mic and and to my speakers and camera. See if we can't get a little bit better presentation, audio and visual presentation. And let's see if that'll work out for you guys. If it doesn't, maybe I'll buy a new headset or a new mic or something. I was talking to this about some other folks that do streaming that I'm in a group with. Eric Rollon, Mitch with Ridgedale Brand, whose show I'm going to be on tomorrow night, and a couple other folks. And we were discussing it, and I was like, the show's never been intended to be anything more than an avenue of discipleship for me. And so it's not really a money-making pit. So there's no incentive for me to make it to dump a lot of money in the presentation when it's the content for me that matters. But I think that it can, a little bit better presentation, a little bit more investment into things will make it just more appealing to others. Not just you folks who have been able to power through how absolutely amateur I am at this, and still enjoy, and like I said, contribute, because that's what you guys do. Nernaeth, why is it called a thunderstorm when it wouldn't be thunder without lightning? Because a lot of times you'll hear the thunder and maybe you may or may not see lightning. You need an audio guy to help set up the audio setting to be tweaked right. You won't get it perfect without them. Yeah, that was what he reached out to me to do, to see if I can do some tuning on it. And yeah, like I said, it's baby steps. Get this done a little bit better. Dresden said, not bad. MR, welcome in, MR. Audio and video right now is decent. Thanks. I've got an intro song. There's a band. I need to reach out to them on Twitter. They got together. They're on YouTube. They did like a compilation together, and they did some like old, like deep Southern gospel songs that I wanted to get like as some musical intro, but I need to get their permission to do that, because I mean that's the right thing to do. They should say, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Nico, no, there will never be cat ears on my headphones. There will never be cat ears on my headphones. Never. All right. So with that said, it's Thursday. It's a great day. Because we're all waiting for Friday to show up so that it can be the weekend. And tonight, kind of like how Thursday is rounding out the week, the work week. We're rounding out the Pentateuch. We're just around the corner. And Moses really finishes his real appeal to the Israelites, and so now we're doing some housekeeping in there. But not just that, we're also going to be talking about the Lord basically saying what we already know, what everybody was already thinking, is what is Israel going to do after Moses makes these proclamations to them and these reminders. We'll read and find out. I wonder. Let's go to tab. So tonight, boom. Deuteronomy 31. Joshua's at the beginning. Joshua to succeed Moses. Then Moses went out and spoke these words to all Israel. I am now 120 years old, and I am no longer able to lead you. The Lord has said to me, you shall not cross the Jordan. The Lord your God himself will cross over ahead of you. He will destroy these nations before you, and you will take possession of their land. Joshua will also cross over ahead of you, as the Lord said. And the Lord will do to them what he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, whom he destroyed along with their land. The Lord will deliver them to you, and you must do to them all that I have commanded you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So that's basically what he's saying. Look, Moses, I'm 120 years. I'm too old for this crap. I'm not allowed to go over there anywhere with you. But my adjutant, Josh here is going to go in there for you, and he's going to lead you. He's going to be the new me, right? He's been learning from me. Hopefully he's ready for you. I really wouldn't wish any of you Israelites on my worst enemy. So I'm just going to give you over to a guy who's like a son to me. And here's what he's saying. Look, I'm going to go ahead of you, and I'm going to destroy these guys just like the folks we ran into during the Exodus. It's not going to be an issue. Be courageous, be strong, have faith in me. Have faith in me, because if you have faith in me, you will understand why you are going to be delivered. And there are some reasons behind this. So you can take this literally, or you can take this in the more, I guess, reasonable, easier to digest sense that, look, they're just going up against powerful nations and powerful armies. There are other people, and I'm kind of I'm open to the either side being right. But Eric Rollon, he's come on here. He's talked about the Nephilim, and he is very much in the camp of the Canaanites and the other ites out there being Nephilim or Nephilim descended tribes, which is where we get Goliath from the David and Goliath story. Goliath was a descendant of the Nephilim, or widely thought to be one. When we get to that part, I think that there might be some scripture that alludes to it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, giants, great, mighty people, scary. It's part of the reason. It gives credence to part of the reason why when they sent out the scouts, all of them said, except for Caleb and Joshua, hey, we can't conquer this land. These people are too big, too powerful. We just need to leave. We just need to leave. And lost faith. Bunch of cowards. So that's just a couple neat little tidbit there where you see some discussion on why would they be so scared if they had God on their side. Well, there's a decent chance that the guys they were going up against, who were occupying that land, were very scary dudes. But you know what's also scary? Having an entire sea crushing you, like what God did to Pharaoh and the Egyptians, who were no slouches. We're talking about a world power here. Gown. Then Moses summoned Joshua and said to him in the presence of all Israel, "Be strong and courageous, for you must go with this people into the land that the Lord swore to their ancestors to give them, and you must divide it among them as their inheritance. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged." Let me tell you, Joshua takes this to heart, which is why he's so cool. I wish there was more about Joshua than what we get in just the book of Joshua. I think that there is so much probably compelling to him for him that's almost as good as what you get from Moses. But there's just not as much about it. Nerneath said, mention of the Nephilim in Genesis as follows in the next sentence, and in those days there were giants in the land, hence the connection some draw between giants, Goliath, and Nephilim. Yeah. He's done some research on it. And if you go on Eric Roland's channel, I think one of the last things he's done, one of the last pieces of content he did, was bringing a gentleman on, a guest on, to have kind of a discussion / debate over what the Nephilim were and how they're mentioned in the Bible. And like I said, comes down to interpretation. And this is one thing I'll say. And I like how Eric comes across, how he researches things, and he brings a very honest and very researched takes when he comes on here. But you're going to hear opinions on here. You're going to hear opinions on here that you may disagree with. That's fine. That's fine. And I don't mind you voicing those issues either. That's part of what these, what this contribution part is. Because I'm going to bring Catholics on here, Roman Catholics on here. I'm going to bring Lutherans. I'm going to bring Presbyterians on here, and people who I disagree with in some respects, and people that you might disagree with. That's fine. What we stay true here, though, is to the basic fundamentals of the Bible. We don't bring modernists on here. We don't bring Jehovah's Witnesses. We don't bring Mormons on here. We don't bring, these fringe groups that are not necessarily supposed to be, or by their own doctrine, adhering to what is biblical and what is righteous. We don't do that. So that's it. Like I said, if you disagree with something, if you don't agree with the Nephilim take, if you don't, that's cool. I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where it's an interesting rabbit hole to go into. It's an interesting thing to theorize about and come to conclusions. Is it something that's going to keep you from getting into heaven when it's all said and done because you had this take on things? Probably not. God, I doubt that when you get up to judgment, God's going to go, really? You thought Goliath was Nephilim? You idiot. Get down to hell. He's not going to do that. What he's going to care about it is, did you live a life where you were pursuing Christ, doing your best to do things? Were you fruitful? Are you a person who has faithfully served me? And those things like that. This other stuff, it's window dressing. And it's fun. It's fun to talk about. But again, it's not something I think that really matters in the grand scheme of things. Alias is in the chat too. How's it going, Alias? Nerneath, it's somewhat interesting, but there's room for interpretation about Nephilim. It ain't one of the most of the important points of doctrine that will keep you out of heaven. So I don't argue. That's pretty much where I stand. It's like, oh, cool. If it's true, then hey, that's great. That makes it even more interesting. But if it's not, then whatever. Nico says, at this point, I don't think I know enough about the Bible to disagree about anything. Look, it's in the weeds. The thing that the stuff that you're supposed to be pulling out most about the Bible is the law, is the example, is the lessons learned, and the theme that you're trying to pull out of things. Like with Job, what are you trying to get out of Job? Strife, the incredible majesty of God, going through life and understanding that if you have nothing but yourself, naked, diseased, and losing so much of what you had, that you still have God and holding on to him. That's, to me, that's what I get out of Job. And stuff that, with the different books and the different accounts that we get through. Not necessarily, did the Nephilim exist? How tall were they? Whatever. I mean, it's like I said, it's interesting historical, but that's not really what we're into, other than as an interesting point of conversation, not a grand debate to discuss about it. But it's interesting to hear different people offer their interpretations on that. Nunaeth says, Nephilim is like the two Glorfindels and Balrog wings and Tolkien. Interesting points people love to argue about, but irrelevant in the larger picture. Yeah, Glorfindel's my man, though. Back in the Silmarillion, just... yeah. I'm mad. I am mad that he did not get any presence in Lord of the Rings movies, because when he's there to save Frodo, on the ride, when he shows up, that would have been pretty cool. But I get it. A lot of people who don't understand Lord of the Rings lore would have been totally lost by that, as opposed to just making it convenient and having Arwen do the Arwen call down the river and everything. All right. Public reading of the law. So Moses wrote down this law and gave it to the Levitical priests, who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord, and to all the elders of Israel. Then Moses commanded them, at the end of every 7 years, in the year for canceling debts, during the festival of tabernacles, when all Israel comes to appear before the Lord at your God, at the place he will choose, you shall read this law before them in their hearing. Good idea. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the foreigners residing in your towns, so that they can listen and learn to fear the Lord your God and follow carefully all the words of this law. Their children who do not know this law must hear it and learn to fear the Lord your God as long as you live in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess. Yeah, that's good. Like every year, or at the end of every 7 years. Okay. So, I mean, it's not something you're just like, oh gosh, we got to do the reading of the law again. No, every 7 years, this is your reminder. We're canceling debts and all that. Let's go through this law. Let's go through these rules. Just as a reminder, this is how we're supposed to be doing, because the more you're reminded about the fundamentals, the more you practice fundamentals so that they become natural to you. Like I said, tell my son, why are fundamentals fundamental? Because they're fundamental. Teach your kids. I believe the children are our future. Teach them right. Show them. Well, crap, I forgot. Let them. Man, I need to watch Coming to America again, because I totally messed that up. Essential chocolate. Here's the part. Here's the meat tonight. Israel's rebellion predicted. Really went out on a limb with that. Here's your hot take, your bold take here. The Lord said to Moses, now the day of your death is near. Call Joshua and present yourselves at the tent of meeting, where I will commission him. So Moses and Joshua came and presented themselves at the tent of meeting. Then the Lord appeared at the tent in a pillar of cloud, and the cloud stood over the entrance to the tent, And the Lord said to Moses, you are going to rest with your ancestors, and these people will soon prostitute themselves to the foreign gods of the land they are entering. I don't know that's predicted. I just mean he's just saying they're gonna do this. It's no guesswork there. Not that God needs the guess, but I mean they make it's a little misleading. These people will soon prostitute themselves to foreign gods of the land they are entering. They will forsake me and break the covenant I made with them. And in that day I will become angry with them and forsake them. I will hide my face from them, and they will be destroyed. Many disasters and calamities will come on them. And in that day they will ask, have not these disasters come on us because our God is not with us? And I will certainly hide my face in that day because all their wickedness in turning to other gods. Now write down this song and teach it to the Israelites and have them sing it so that they may be a witness for me against them. When I have brought them into the land flowing with milk and honey, the land I promised on oath to their ancestors, and when they eat their fill and thrive, they will turn to other gods and worship them, rejecting me and breaking my covenant because they're spoiled, rotten brats. Ungrateful. Just like I am. And when many disasters and calamities come on them, this song will testify against them because it will not be forgotten by their descendants. I know what they are disposed to do, even before I bring them into the land I promised them on oath. So Moses wrote down the song that day and taught it to the Israelites. The Lord gave this command to Joshua, son of Nun. Be strong and courageous, for you will bring the Israelites into the land I promised them on oath, and I myself will be with you. After Moses finished writing in a book the words of this law from beginning to end, he gave this command to the Levites who carried the Ark of the Covenant to the Lord. Take this book of the law and place it beside the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God. There it will remain as a witness against you. For I know how rebellious and stiff-necked you are. If you have been rebellious against the Lord while I am still alive, and with you, how much more will you rebel after I die? Assemble before me all the elders of your tribes and all your officials, so that I can speak these words in their hearing and call the heavens and earth to testify against them. For I know that after my death, you are sure to become utterly corrupt and turn from the way I have commanded you. In the days to come, disaster will fall on you because you will do evil in the sight of the Lord and arouse his anger by what your hands have made. Sounds to me like when the Lord said that, they will forsake me and break the covenant I made with them. Moses is like, no, you don't say. Wonder if God gets angry if people are sarcastic with him. I really feel like God sympathizes with Moses so much because God's got all this power and everything. Moses is just a guy, and Moses is a guy operating under commands. So God can really just decide to leave at any time. Moses has to stick it out, really. He's been told. He's been told by God. Fig, what do you mean by these people? I know, right? These people sounds a little anti-Semitic, God. Come on, God. And not cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks. Nernath, man, God told Moses, you are dying today. And he sounds like he was cool with it. Not sure that would be my reaction. Nernath, this dude has been stuck with these Israelites for 40 years, leading them through the wilderness. He's ready to go. He is ready to be out of there. This is my thing. This is my thing. I'm not necessarily sure how much of a punishment God keep taking Moses before they cross the Jordan. It really is. Or if it's something, yeah, you're getting punished, but this is also a respite. Kind of like your kids have thrown a fit and you put them on timeout. It's not necessarily a punishment. It's giving them a time to cool off and collect themselves. Not exactly the same core concept or principle, but same kind of the thing. He sees Moses. This is a man he loves. This is a man who's been very very faithful to him when no one else has been, it seems. And he's just dealt with this crap day in and day out. He's the person who oftentimes gets credit instead of God. But he also, they whine and just are miserable to him. Even his own sister and brother plot against him at times. And he's got to deal with it. He's just got to deal with it. So I really think Moses, and he's 120 years old too. 120 years old, too old for this crap. I've been dealing with you stiff-necked people. I'm ready to go. God says I'm going to rest. I need this rest. He's going to his own paradise. He knows it. He's going to go hang out with God much more closely. And I think that Moses is happy. I think he can't wait. He's like, is it today? Can it be right now? So, I mean, that's just where I think. I mean, we go through we've gone through this whole bit, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and now closing in on Deuteronomy. For these past 4 books, he's been putting up with some crap, but at the same time, finding out that there's more to him than he ever suspected was within himself, and that faith in God has helped him do amazing things and deliver his people into a covenant and a promise that started with Abraham hundreds of years before he arrived. He gets to fulfill that and send them in there, and he gets to see them off. He gets to see them off as Joshua's problem. So you're gonna have to think of what would be asking for another few weeks, maybe. And look, God, he might be tired of eating manna as well. Dresden said, should have packed some heat. Nico, Moses had no trust in these damn kids. I don't think so. Wild Weeb, he always knew. If I were Moses, I would react exactly as you just said. Fig says Moses was the first retard wrangler. Maybe not the first, but he definitely had a lot of them. Dresden, that's old. Wonder if he has a secret Himalayan monk. If he was a secret Himalayan monk. Doubtful. That's doubtful. Remember, back then they were living a lot longer. Because if you go back to Methuselah and all the folks from Moses, Adam, and all them guys, they were all living like millennia old. So, and here it is, the Song of Moses that I will not be singing tonight. I will not be singing tonight. I will be reading it because I don't even think it rhymes. And look, I just got all you guys here. The last thing I want to do is chase y'all off with my singing. The Song of Moses. And Moses recited the words of this song from beginning to end in the hearing of the whole assembly of Israel. Listen, you heavens, and I will speak. Hear, you earth, the words of my mouth. Let my teaching fall like rain, and my words descend like dew. Like showers on new grass, like abundant rain on tender plants. I will proclaim the name of the Lord. Oh, praise the greatness of our God. He is the rock. His works are perfect, and all his ways are just. A faithful God who does no wrong, upright and just is he. They are corrupt and not his children. To their shame they are warped and crooked in generation. Is this the way you repay the Lord, you foolish and unwise people? Is he not your father, your creator, who made you and formed you? We'll stop right there. Who else feels like this from time to time? I'm not singing, guys. I don't even know what tempo to do this at. Who else feels like this from time to time? Warped and crooked generation. Is this the way you pay the Lord, you foolish and unwise people? Is he not your father or your creator who made you and formed you? I feel like this a lot. And I think if you feel this way, if you honestly feel this way, I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good sign that you understand, and that you are doing at least taking the first step, but probably already practicing, trying to better better um better serve him and better follow his commands. This modern generation feels like it. Nernath, how did people write down these random songs in the Bible? Was it like a musical? I tend to think the singer or God had to clue people in to take notes. I think the Israelites back, I mean, I don't know. Look, they didn't have a whole lot to do in their spare time. I think music was a big thing for many different cultures back then, because it is a great form of entertainment. It's something that we all get fulfillment through, even to this day, where we've got so much going on. We can still go to a concert or put our headphones on and listen to music. I think it was so much a part of different cultures back then. This is my take on it. But as far as how they write it down, I don't know. It's a little kind of angsty, though, if you try to put it in today's context. A little angsty. Instead of blaming the parents, you're blaming the kids. It's just reversed angst. Moses is early My Chemical Romance in reverse. Oh. Remember the days of old. Consider the generations long past. Ask your father, and he will tell you, your elders, and they will explain to you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind, he set up boundaries for the peoples, according to the number of the sons of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob his allotted inheritance. In a desert land he found him. In a desert land he found him, in a barren and howling waste. He shielded him and cared for him. He guarded him as the apple of his eye, like an eagle that stirs up its nest and hovers over its young, that spreads its wings to catch them and carries them aloft. The Lord alone led him. No foreign god was with him. He made him ride on the heights of the land and fed him with the fruit of the fields. He nourished him with the honey from the rock and with oil from the flinty crag, with curds and milk from herd and flock, and with fattened lambs and goats, the choice rams of Bashan and the finest kernels of wheat. You drank the foaming blood of the grape. Never thought about it that way. Never thought of wine as foaming blood of the grape. Jeshurun grew fat and kicked. Filled with food, they became heavy and sleek. They abandoned the God who made them and rejected the rock, their savior. They made him jealous with their foreign gods and angered him with their detestable idols. They sacrificed to false gods, which are not God, gods they had not known, gods that recently appeared, gods your ancestors did not fear. You deserted the rock. I can't do the eyebrow. I wish I could do the eyebrow right now. It would be great. You deserted the rock who fathered you. You forgot the God who gave you birth. And I know I'm not the only one thinking of it. I know you all were thinking of it when I said the rock rejected the rock, their savior, and then you deserted the rock. The Lord saw this and rejected them because he was angered by his sons and daughters. I will hide my face from them, he said, and see what their end will be. For they are a perverse generation, children who are unfaithful. They made me jealous by what is no God and angered me with their worthless idols. They will make them envious by those who are not a people. I will make them angry by a nation that has no understanding. For a fire will be kindled by my wrath, when it burns down to the realms of the dead below. It will devour the earth and its harvests, and set afire the foundations of the mountains. No, it doesn't rhyme in English, as we're finding out. I will heap calamities on them and spend my arrows against them. I will send wasting famine against them, consuming pestilence and deadly plague. I will send against them the fangs of wild beasts, the venom of vipers that glide in the dust. In the street, the sword will make them childless. In their homes, terror will reign. The young men and young women will perish, the infants and those with gray hair. I said I would scatter them and erase their name from human memory, but I dreaded the taunt of the enemy, lest the adversary misunderstand and say, our hand is triumph. The Lord has not done all this. They are a nation without sense. There is no discernment in them. If only they were wise and would understand this and discern what their end will be. How could one man chase 1,000 or two put 10,000 to flight unless their rock has sold them, unless the Lord has given them up? For their rock is not like our rock. I really wish I had that. I could do the eyebrow. As even our enemies concede, their vine comes from the vine of Sodom and from the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are filled with poison and their clusters with bitterness. Their wine is the venom of serpents, the deadly poison of cobras. Pride Month, everybody. Just gonna put that in there right there. Have I not kept this in reserve and sealed it in my vaults? It is mine to avenge. I will repay. In due time, their foot will slip. Their day of disaster is near, and their doom rushes upon them. The Lord will vindicate his people and relent concerning his servants. When he sees their strength is gone and no one is left, slave or free, he will say, now where are their gods, the rock they took refuge in? The gods who ate the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offerings. Let them rise up to help you. Let them give you shelter. This is going to be great when Elijah comes in the but this is great. I love this part. He goes, look, you want to worship other people? You want to worship other gods? You want to worship demons and all these idols? Fine. Here, let them take care of you. So the next time that you need me, I won't be around. And I think that's part of what the reason is, where Israel does stand up from time to time, even while they're doing evil. And God goes, gets out of there. That, there is some stuff that they can do on their own. But as soon as they hit an obstacle, you're tossing a coin there, because either you can do it or you can't, because you don't have God on your side and you're not so great when he's not there. So the odds aren't really in your favor. But yeah, but when everything goes wrong, you can call them. They can help you out, because I'm not going to be there, because you didn't want me there when it was good. I'm not going to be there when you need me. See now that myself am he. There is no God besides me. I put to death and I bring to life. I have wounded and I will heal. And no one can deliver out of my hand. I lift my hand to heaven and solemnly swear, as surely as I live forever, when I sharpen my flashing sword and my hand grasps it in judgment, I will take vengeance on my adversaries and repay those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, while my sword devours flesh, the blood of the slain and the captives, the heads of the enemy leaders. Rejoice, you nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants. He will take vengeance on his enemies and make atonement for his land and people. It's heavy. I love this part right here. The veteran in me. I will take vengeance upon my adversaries and repay those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, while my sword devours flesh, the blood of the slain and the captives, the heads of the enemy leaders. So nice. So nice. Underneath, the hills are covered in sweet manna. Are we going to do this in the hills are alive with the sound of music? Hebrew poetry uses thought rhymes, stanzas with the same meaning restated or with contrasting ideas juxtaposed. Nothing you do with phonetic rhyming. Oh, okay. The thought rhyming I reference above is why the Old Testament sounds repetitive, FYI. It does. I think it's repetitive, but I also think that that's a sensible thing that they do in that case. Repetition is good for teaching. Somehow, as repetitive as it is, it's not repetitive enough for the Israelites. What is rock in this context then? Like literal rock? Like literal rock? No, like they're talking about like your rock. The when somebody describes somebody who is there when they need them and is there to support them, my rock, it's the same. That's the same illustrative point. At least that's what I'm getting out of this. The person who is solid, unwavering, steadfast for me, that's my rock. Wild Wave, verse 43. Yeah, I like how it ends on a kind of a positive note. Gives me hope he will save my country. He might not save your country. He will save you. He will save you. Nations come and go. I mean, it's interesting. We live in such a static geopolitical environment compared to how things usually go. But you know, the US isn't going to be around forever. Maybe it's around when the end times come. I don't know. Same with Canada, Mexico. We don't know what's going to happen 200, 300 years from now. We don't know what the landscape's going to look like. Got to worry about China. Don't know where they're going to be. You don't know. Worry about you. And as we're getting into Joshua, as for me and my family, we serve the Lord. That's how you got to be. Because the politics, the things that we believe in that are, you know, outside of biblical teachings, not to say that they're against biblical teachings, but they're kind of just not discussed. Those things, the things that go against biblical teachings, I mean, they're going to come and go. Going to come and go. We'll see. Hope you're stocking up, Stuart. I've got a lot of land. And I've got some supplies, but need more livestock. That's what I need. I need more livestock. Nath, just walk with Jesus. That's the key to a Christian life. The rest is practice and details. And yeah, I agree with that a lot. The rest is practice and details and forgiveness. A lot of humbling yourself and asking for forgiveness, because if you're practicing to be better and you're going to be screwing up while you're practicing going through this. So yeah, I think that's right, Nath. I wonder if God cares for human politics. I think matters of humans concern him greatly, but does it matter in the long run? I mean, it's all kind of it's all at his discretion, right? Like if he wanted to, he could change things real quick. But I think he is concerned at how politics is shaping the people that he loves. Just kind of like you being concerned about what your kids would be watching on TV or learning in school, stuff like that. Figs hoping everybody's prepping. Moses came with Joshua, son of Nun, and spoke all the words of this song in the hearing of the people. When Moses finished, as a 120-year-old man singing. When Moses finished reciting all the words to Israel, he said to them, "Take to heart all the words I have solemnly declared to you this day, so that you may command your children to obey carefully all the words of this law. They are not just idle words for you, they are your life. By them you will live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess." Moses to die on Mount Nebo, or Nebo, or Nebu, who cares? Mount someplace. On that day, the Lord told Moses, "Go up in the Abarim range to Mount Nebo in Moab, across from Jericho, and view Canaan, the land I am giving the Israelites as their own possession. There on the mountain that you have climbed, you will die and be gathered to your people, just as your brother Aaron died on Mount Or and was gathered to his people. This is because both of you broke faith with me in the presence of the Israelites at the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the desert of Zin, and because you did not uphold my holiness among the Israelites. Therefore, you will see the land only from a distance. You will not enter the land I am giving to the people of Israel." That's the only, there's times when God talks about that. That's the only time where I start to think, I wonder, maybe if it might have been legitimate punishment. And not to say that Moses didn't deserve it from what he did, but you also think God knows how much of his Moses' patience was being tested. Heck, even God's talking about wiping the Israelites out. And God even says, look, I can go with you. I'm going to leave some angels with you to show you the way to the promised land. You don't want me to go with you, because if I go with you, I'll probably destroy you like 2 miles from once we start, because you're going to piss me off that quickly. You'll never make it. So, but there are times like this where he's very serious. You broke faith with me. And not only that, you broke faith for me as my personal representative. So that's a big thing. It's not just you screwed up and you're just a lad over there, a nobody. No, you are my guy, my mouthpiece, my representative to my human representative to the Israelites. And you broke faith with something, with power I gave you, and you took it and you took advantage of it. So you are punished. So while it seems kind of small that Moses loses his cool for a minute, it's kind of the context in which he takes, when kind of the context in which he screws up, he has to be punished. But again, he's going up on the mountain. He gets to see them crossed. He's done his job. He got them to the promised land, and Joshua's taking over, and Joshua can deal with that mess, because those folks are going to be just as much of a stubborn and stiff-necked people as their parents were, because they are, because that's what happens. Spoiler alert. Nernaeth, I think God laughs at our politics, but I've been teaching Isaiah in a small group recently, so that is on my mind. Isaiah's so awesome. Isaiah's so awesome. There are parts of the Bible that I can't wait to get to, but at the same time, we hit passages that I don't even think of that come through as we're reading through that are just so rich. Just this whole book of Deuteronomy has been an example of that, or most of the book of Deuteronomy has been an example of that, where I end up getting way more out of it than I thought I was when I was entering into it. So that's good. And that will conclude. So we know Moses is going to die. Moses isn't around with us anymore. He's looking down from us on heaven, or he doesn't care, because he's like, look, I dealt with those guys 40 years. I will never watch. I don't need to see anything that goes on the earth anymore. All the earth has ever done is piss me off. I'm up here with God. I'm happy. I'm not worried about it. And you know what? Good for him if that's the case. Good for him if that's the case. Sorry for you guys who wanted me to sing. I'm not singing. I'm definitely not singing this, because this would just be a mess. Anyway. All right, guys, that'll conclude things tonight for Thursday. Like Friday, we should be finishing Deuteronomy. Yeah, Moses is dying and blessing the tribes. It's going to be very similar to Jacob. But we're going to close that out on Friday, and then I'm going to be going over to Ridgedale Brand. I'll probably put the link in the description if you guys want to come over. I think the subject he talked about was the usefulness of the 10 Commandments in a secular for secular people, and so I'll be giving out some opinions on that, because there's some commandments that are not very secular in nature at all, right? The first one, and honoring the Sabbath, taking the Lord's name in vain, these kind of things going on. But there's other ones that do have a more universal appeal to them. Why are they universal? Because the problem with it is, it all boils down to is our morality is derived from God. And so it's difficult to take it a little bit seriously. You kind of have to step out of that zone and say, well, if I didn't believe, if I was an unbeliever, if I was an apostate or an atheist or something like that, how would this stuff benefit me? I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to approach it. I'm going to be interested to see how the conversation. I have opinions. So with that said, everybody, look forward to seeing you or reading from you guys tomorrow night, and maybe in Ridgedale Brand's chat. We'll see. But thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being here in the past. I really feel like I should just make an effort to thank you guys every episode, whether you show up, whether you're here or not, because you have been here and hopefully, Lord willing, I'm interesting and compelling enough, or you're getting enough out of this that you keep coming back again. So again, thank you for listening. Whether it's live or on replay, I don't care. I don't care. Thank you for watching. I'm hoping you're getting stuff out of this. You are definitely making this way more, way easier for me because you guys give me y'all's feedback. And with that said, everybody, have a very good night. See you tomorrow night, and God bless.